Okay. I think I don't like this. I have too much light. The Zoom camera is different. Just a minute.
How are you doing today, Beata?
It's okay. I didn't do anything special.
Okay, we're recording.
Anything
Yes.
special.
So, you said something which I felt is so profound. What did you say? Painting something that is coming from inside of you, as
Um,
compared to.
when I look at all the abstract work out there,
Mhm,
so much of it is it's not definable, as in who did that work. I mean,
mhm,
it now appears like everybody, it feels like everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. Okay,
mhm,
so what sets you apart? It's
mhm,
just it's your energy signature, really.
mhm.
How are your emotions today? Where's your mind
Absolutely.
at? That's what
Mhm,
the abstract paintings end up being.
mhm, mhm,
And I don't feel like there's enough going on with that
mhm,
connects with people.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
so personal that
Yeah.
uh, I'd say, Beata, one of the things about your work is that they're portrait pieces, even if they are portraits from something inside you.
Mhm.
It is more of something that somebody could there could feel a connection with
Absolutely.
than a straight abstract.
Mhm.
You know,
Absolutely.
Nick Wilton's deal is great, but I don't know how many people would emotionally connect to what he's doing, even though
Mhm.
I think his approach to teaching is wonderful.
Mhm.
Yes,
Um,
his teaching is wonderful, but otherwise he's a process painter.
yeah,
Mhm. Yes,
yeah,
he is.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true.
It feels mechanical, and there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
Mhm.
You know.
It's a good exposure, for
Mhm.
people, especially if they're just getting into doing abstracts. The way he brings it
Mhm.
out is wonderful.
Yes,
Mhm. Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
that's really is.
I
So.
think what we were talking about earlier, Beata, was that I feel like I'm just one of maybe too many abstract painters right now, and it's been a very good exercise for me because it's an emotional
Mhm.
release, and maybe it's untying the knots
Mhm.
that I have in
Mhm.
myself, but
Mhm.
that it's not really exposing anything meaningful for anybody
Mhm.
else to
Mhm.
connect to.
Mhm. Mhm.
So maybe I'm on the edge of trying to dig deeper. And that, what we were talking about with that corset idea, I mean, I have not put any pencil to paper or anything yet. It's just been going around in my mind, and I've
Mhm.
continued to add on layers of ways it could be dealt with. And I'm writing those down.
Mhm. Do you follow? Did you start following the designer artist?
The one
Her
that
name is
did that
the
thing I
one which
found,
inspired you.
I don't, I don't think I did. I think I'll
She
have to go back to your
posted
post
her
and get her.
process. I wanted to send it to you, and I was like, oh, I'm sure you follow her, but maybe you don't. She posted her process, how she gets the forest landscapes on the lingerie,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, Marianne has to see this, and then I was like, oh, you've
Mhm.
already seen it, but I
I
just
did
sent
look
you.
over it. I looked over it, but I've had so many things in my head that I don't know that I followed her. I'll post her name again so I make sure I go back and
Yeah,
get
no,
it.
I'll send it to you because I thought it was fascinating. Her process
Okay.
of what how should I describe it? Capturing the images and then transferring them onto the fabric.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I'm sending it to you right now.
Yeah,
So,
that's going around in my head and all the different ways to do it.
mm-hmm,
I saw recently an artist from Atlanta whose work is being promoted by a big firm over there,
mm-hmm,
and they promote various artists. They're like a representative of
mm-hmm,
many artists.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mhm.
she's painting on organza. Whoop,
Wow,
Oh.
whoa.
that is serious.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you all?
No, right here. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
we have lost you. We can't see you.
Okay, I have to go back and pick it up.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, you're
Okay.
back. You're back.
Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try. Here we
Oh,
go.
now I can see you.
Okay. I don't have a stable place for this phone.
Yeah,
She's represented by a big firm that is a consultant for corporations and things like that. And
Mhm.
I followed them and then saw her, and she's very interesting, but she's painting on layers of organza and I guess stretching them. So
Wow.
they are over top of each other
Uh-huh.
on a frame. And
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, here's another person thinking outside the box,
Mhm.
because you imagine if you're trying to paint on organza, it's got to end up looking very sheer, no matter
Mhm.
what you do.
Mhm.
Um, those ideas are going around in my head. Could I layer images? I've thought about taking photographs, having it printed on Mylar, and then
Mhm.
have the Mylar be part of the piece,
Mhm.
and things going on above and behind it.
Yeah,
So, my head is trying out all kinds of ideas
it's wonderful. I love it.
till I get home and can explore more.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. I think that's exciting. And yes, we want to sell. Yes, we want to do what the market wants, but at the end of the day, um, I read this quote. Let me see, I think I saved it. Yes, I saved it. She said, or he said, I don't know who the author of the quote was. It said, I make art to show my soul I am listening. I thought that was profound, you know. And so, yeah, it's a fine line between financial success, what the market wants, and
Mhm.
being true to what is calling us. Yeah. Um, oh, looks like Michelle. I don't know if she's coming. Has anyone heard from her or anything?
No,
Okay.
I would like to hear from her. She hasn't really had an opportunity to speak
Yeah,
very
yeah,
much.
yeah. I was hoping she would show up today. Um, well, okay. So what I wanted to share is we're going to be jump starting the Profit Canvas on Monday. And we're all in different places. We all have different goals. Um, I'm not putting words in your mouth, Marianne, but um, I know one of your goals is to have some kind of website so that when you have these shows and stuff, you
Hmm.
have somewhere to direct people. I know
Yeah, they
that's
have to. There
yeah,
has to be somewhere for that
somewhere
from the business card for them to actually end up
to
when they
go.
see it.
Yes, and
Yeah,
if that's the only thing you accomplish during this
That'll be a
time,
would be good.
it would be a big deal, you know.
very big deal.
So I just want us to remember that whatever exercises, conversations we have as we begin the Profit Canvas, it's all going to serve us individually, depending on where we are, you know. And so today, I would like to invite us to set an intention as we begin this journey again. You know, I've said it many times in the past couple of weeks since this came up that we've come to know each other. We've come to know our art. We've come to know each other, and so I'm looking forward to this next journey because I feel as we bring up these same subjects and also the new subjects, we can really support each other this time around, you know, to get this thing done, you know. So um I'm excited. I never thought I would be excited about the conflict on this again, but I am. I am. I'm genuinely excited and optimistic. I've even started watching Alexis's videos again because for a long time I stopped, you know, and I love what she's talking about. She's talking about making offers consistently, and I know it's something I don't do. I think I make an
Yeah,
offer once a year
yeah, that's
where
good.
it's consistent. I know I've made spontaneous offers which don't even stick because You know, it's this, you know, it's this impulse. There's no strategy to it. You know,
Yeah.
nothing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Bhakti says, I think the problem is not with the impulse,
Hmm.
but the lack of analysis after.
That's what I'm saying. There's no strategy. You know, and I'm fully aware. I own the fact that there hasn't been any strategy. So of course there was no
Mhm.
response, you know.
Yeah.
So so yes, I would love for us to set some intentions. I don't want to call them goals per se, but it would be
Mhm.
lovely to come back and watch this video in 3 months or at the end of the year and say, oh, this is what I said I would do, or this is what I wanted to accomplish. And oh, look at what I did accomplish, you know. So that's my invitation to us today. Yeah. So since today is Friday and Michelle isn't here, we begin with you, Marianne.
Are you
Oh
asking
no, no,
for?
no, no, it's Beata.
Okay.
We can start.
Zoom is confusing me because with
I have no problem.
with Hangouts, I could. It was all in line. So okay, who wants to go first?
Are you asking for us to list what we're willing to agree to have completed?
Um, what you would like to accomplish,
Mhm.
Okay.
what you would like
Um,
to see, what you would like to accomplish. No rules, just what you would
okay.
like to accomplish.
The website has to be up.
Mm-hmm.
Some written description of like an artist statement has to be completed.
Okay.
That's not too far in the distance here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would like to have fleshed out one of the ideas that I've got running around in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe more than one of them,
Mm-hmm.
because income production is becoming critical.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
one is the idea of creating reproducible murals,
Okay.
and maybe simplified ones that would fit into a more sophisticated environment.
Mm-hmm.
But that requires some research on wallpapers and those potentials.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other one is to have a series, a painting series that lets me explore more than I have with the abstracts alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that will be fleshed out too.
Mm-hmm.
Those are big generals that
Yes, it's yeah.
are doable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's clear. To have your website up and running, to have an artist statement which really expresses who you are and the purpose behind your art, and to have some new work,
New
right?
series.
New series. Yes.
Yeah.
How did you like the dress I sent you?
Say again.
The dress I sent you.
The dress. Oh my goodness. Wasn't
Did
that
you?
lovely?
But could you see
Yeah.
the? Could you see your
Yes. Yeah.
paintings as
How it
the
moved.
the movement? Could
Yeah.
you see it?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
There's an artist by the name of Claire Desjardins. She's just been
I
out
know her.
to
Yes.
Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious about who's making that clothing for her,
Mm,
because you can get some cheaper things made,
mm-hmm.
but I would really like to know what her resource is, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that would make the difference in something, when it showed up being nice.
Yes.
That's, again, we've discussed this. My worry
Yes.
is
Mm-hmm.
that something shows up cheaply made and you
Mm-hmm.
just, oh,
Yeah.
that would bother me. Or
Of course.
they didn't care about the thread color they used, and they had
Mm-hmm.
a white background and used
Yeah.
black thread. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff just makes me nuts.
So
So
that's yeah. Yeah.
that is one of my resources has had some bad reviews along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I guess maybe you could start Do you follow her name is Helen Daltrey.
No.
She's an abstract floral watercolor painter.
Mhm.
And she started out even before she began selling prints and originals, she was doing scarves
Oh yeah.
and big scarves, not small neck scarf, like they're
Mhm.
big,
Right.
so you could really see the artwork, um, you know. But anyway,
Uh,
when
post her name for me.
I will, let me send it to
Yeah.
you right now.
Mhm.
If you want to be at, I'll send it to you too. So yes,
Yeah.
your website, a beautiful, meaningful artist statement, right? A
Yes.
destination for when you hand out your business cards and brochures, somewhere where people can follow up and get to know more about you, at least. Even if that's all for starters, I
Yeah.
think that would feel amazing. You know?
Yeah, I have a very interesting next 2 months to go through as I
Yes,
meet the
yes.
needs of somebody else,
Mhm.
because they are trying to get a meeting at the hospital where all the people that have something to say show up at it.
Okay.
And I sent out an email which was shared with everybody to sort of outline my expectations, which is
Mhm.
bolder than I've done in the past. I
Okay.
basically told them what I wouldn't do.
Mhm.
And then I told them what I would do within my artistic impressions of what was requested of me,
Mhm.
so that they understood that everything brought to the table might not end up in the final product, but that they
Mhm.
had to give me the artistic license to choose according to what I felt like would make for a beautiful image
Mhm.
and delight everybody. So that sort of tempers them a bit, I
Of
hope, because
course, of course.
I've had meetings like this where 4 or 5 people showed up and everybody had an idea of what they wanted to see happen. And
Mhm.
then they blew it out of the water because it couldn't all happen.
Mhm.
And then somebody got angry and they dismissed me.
Mhm.
So I just was I thought, if I'm going to blow it out of the water, let's not waste any time here. Let's just
Yes,
tell them
yes,
right
no,
up
from the
front.
beginning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is this something you would like to have like written up on your website in the future so that you don't have to go through this every time, or is it going to be
It's,
specific to every
it's an
project?
odd thing.
Mhm.
This has only happened a few times. And
Okay,
it's not normal for me to be brought into a conference table and have 4 or 5 people sitting around it.
okay.
It's usually just one person who I have to handle, and that's easy.
Mhm.
But if they're all in different departments and they're
Mhm.
coming together for this unusual meeting, they'll have different ideas. So this
Mhm.
would just diffused it up front. I hope that they
Mhm.
would understand that
Of
I
course.
expected them to give me
Mhm.
what they wanted to see, but to understand
Yeah.
that it would be included through my artistic sensibilities.
Mhm. Mhm.
We would come up with an image that hopefully was pleasing in general to
Mhm.
everyone,
Yeah.
but may not include everything that was brought to the table.
Okay.
I thought, oh, if that doesn't set them off, maybe we can get through a meeting
Of
that
course.
they understand it.
Mhm.
Of course.
It's so unpleasant to go
Mhm.
through that experience.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So do you want it
Um,
to be a policy, like written in stone
I
ahead
don't,
of
I
time?
don't think so. I think I would rather wait for a company to approach me and then let them know it
Okay.
rather than say that ahead of time.
Okay.
I'm not really, I don't see myself doing a lot of commissions in this. What I see myself doing is providing some images I have for sale.
Okay.
And then if someone approaches about a commission,
Okay.
then I can kind of run it through. Do I want to deal with that or not right now?
Mhm.
Because I don't always have time or energy or in the right place to deal with a commission.
Mhm.
Gives me an opportunity to
Mhm.
refuse it if it's not right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And the final thing you said was this to 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 start generating income. Yeah.
Say again?
To start generating some consistent income.
Yeah.
So we don't know what that looks like yet, but it's an
We're going to
intention.
put a few different irons in the fire,
Okay.
and
All right.
all which feel good. And we'll
Yes,
just see what happens.
they have to feel good. They have to feel good. All right. Okay. Well, thank you. Um, as you know, I don't like the word accountable. It doesn't inspire me. So
Yeah.
we will hold you in love
Thank you.
embark
Yeah,
on this
appreciate it.
journey to
Yeah.
make these, to bring these things to life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Beata, do you want to go or should I go? You go.
What I want to accomplish. So
Mhm.
I would like to uh, up to date my website or probably create a new one because I had several problems with my website. So I want to have a new one. I
Mhm.
know that it's lots of work. I should do a price audit, but although I know that my sales price is really, really low, it's obvious that I can sell at this price. so,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure that I want to increase it right now because
Okay.
I have plenty of paintings. So
Yeah.
probably it's better if I can sell at
Mhm.
least 30% of
Mhm.
it or 50% of it and wait
And then
until I can generate some income because it feels so good.
Yeah.
that's a very reasonable
Yeah.
goal to sell your current inventory at the
Mhm.
price that you have. And then
Yes. And
maybe when it's gone, then you can think about, I think, as you know, one of my personal grievances with the Profit Canvas was I was told my prices were too low. So I raised everything and I haven't sold
Mhm.
anything since. And so maybe I wasn't ready, you know.
yeah, and that's important that you need to have a confidence to ask higher price.
Mhm.
By now, Alexis also explained it that you need to be
You need to be there.
confident with
Yes,
your price.
yes.
And first of all, I would like to generate some income. That's much more important for me
Yes.
than getting higher
Mhm.
prices. So
Mhm.
smaller income is better than
Then
none at
nothing.
all.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so,
yes.
so that's
Impulse buying is a possibility at smaller
At
prices.
smaller prices. Yes,
yes.
yes.
So a few people bought a few pieces, and I was really happy with them because uh, they were so delighted with the pieces.
Mhm.
It was a good feeling.
Mhm. So we want more of that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I want more of that. Yeah. And I would like to have more exhibition opportunity
Mhm.
because because if I have an exhibition, I definitely can sell.
Mhm.
And I met one of my friends yesterday who visited my exhibition, and she knew my paintings
Mhm.
digitally.
Mhm.
but in reality, she just explained how much influenced her and her husband as well. that mm, it made such a strong feelings
Mhm.
in them, very different type because the paintings are
Mhm.
reflecting very different emotions. But it has much more instant effect to the viewers than
Mhm.
just a digital image. So I think it should be plenty of opportunities
Mhm.
in a real exhibition.
Mhm.
Although if we watch a film in a movie, so
Mhm.
if your screen is enough large, and I think also the photography and the video is enough high quality, you can still enjoy and can feel similar effect. However, that's not guaranteed
No.
because you cannot give the adequate phone or computer screen for all
Mhm.
of your buyers hand.
No.
but I can try to concentrate on improving my photography on my website. Yeah, that's what I can do. Plus, Alexis thinks and strongly believes in that we should do regular offers, and we need to test it. Not only test it, but need to analyze the results.
Yes.
And so I would like to make it at least one offer a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and the posts should, all posts, social media posts and email should somehow seed this offer. So I would decide what would be the offer in the month and design the posts around it. So that's my plan. I hope I will do it.
Oh, well, we will know this time. We will. We will. I know we will. We will. That's why I want us to set our intentions.
Yeah.
So you need to redesign your website or fix UX.
Yes.
Have more exhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
Create more offers.
Yes. And in order to be able to get more exhibition possibilities, I think I should create a little brochure with my paintings. And,
yes. Yeah. This is something you had mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you've had an exhibition, I think you will see the need for it now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a very interesting experience because she was my Pilates trainer otherwise. And she probably is going to buy 2 of my big paintings. One of them is the Grace, and that's connected to my, I didn't tell her, but it's connected to my son's sickness and what was happening, and it was about my helplessness and sufferings. And she was unable to speak about the painting without crying. And but I couldn't speak about it without crying either. And at that time I didn't know why. And after I came home, I realized the connection. But I didn't know what was the connection. So her daughter had a brain tumor when she was 12 years old. And she had a surgery and recovered fully, but it was a lot of suffering for the whole family. Their marriage ended because her husband couldn't recover from the stress, and although so somehow she could feel the connection, because my painting was about really my son had a sexual abuse, and that's why he had this post-traumatic stress disorder and this OCD, and how his whole life destroyed. And while I was unable to help him, I painted this very, very cold feeling out from myself. And it was a really interesting experience because while I was painting, suddenly I felt some warmness, as an angel would have hugged me, or might be my dead father. But it helped me, and I could release this desperate trying to help him, and I could accept that that's the situation and I need to live with it. And try, of course, try to do whatever I can, but if I can't, I need to accept. And so that was so interesting that without knowing it,
Mhm.
she able to feel it.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's incredible. That's so amazing.
It's almost like the painting is a divination tool for you, or a channeling tool,
Yes.
that maybe
Yes.
at least it's an outlet, a pouring out for
Mhm.
something, a release.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so that's interesting that if they can see
Mhm.
in person, they can feel the
You can
vibration of the
feel it.
painting and the emotions, what I had while I was painting it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's incredible.
And I have never thought that they would have the same feeling, or they can remember the same feelings or
Mhm.
from their life by just watching
Yeah.
the painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's incredible. That's
Yes,
incredible.
it is.
Wow.
And otherwise, the difficulty is, I know that Alexis said that buyers can connect you
Mhm.
through your stories, but I
Mhm.
can't tell my story.
Yes.
It's because it's not only my story, it's my
Yes.
son's story, so I'm unable to tell
Of
that or
course.
speak
Yeah.
about it.
Of
I
course.
can certain level that, but not in detail.
Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Of
Only
course.
in general terms.
Mhm.
So that's why it's difficult to speak about it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it was really, really interesting.
Mhm.
Probably her husband also had some kind of uh, serious soul damage because he was also very emotional by the exhibition.
Mhm.
But I don't know his story and what happened with him.
For me, this is so powerful because this is so pure to experience viewers of your art connecting to the emotion.
Yes.
This is everything. This is everything, you know.
Yes,
And
this is everything.
it, I wish there was a way we could express that more digitally, but the truth is, digital can only get us so far.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Yeah,
only get us so far.
digitally it's much more difficult.
Yes, it can only get us so far. So yes, you do have to have more exhibitions. My goodness. I mean,
Maybe,
how did you feel as an artist to have people respond in this way? My goodness,
That's fantastic. Yeah.
such a gift. That's such
Yes,
a
that's
gift.
a real gift. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And I say if I was back home, I would have exhibitions in my friends' houses. I don't have friends here. If I did, I would say I would like I can see it. It would be so effortless where I would call a friend and say, get your girlfriends together on Sunday afternoon. I'm bringing my paintings. Let's hang out. You know. Um, all I'm saying is that there can be the informal exhibitions and the formal exhibitions. So, for example, like your this friend, I don't know how close you are, but could it be a possibility to tell her that if she could invite some of her friends and you would like to bring some of your pieces over? I'm just saying we need to create opportunity.
Opportunities, yeah.
You know, we need to create opportunity. So because my friend, I call her my angel bride, my friend who moved from Indiana to California. I think I've shared this before that initially was getting on my nerves because anytime she would come over, she'd say, "Oh, your paintings look so much better in person than they do online." And she would just say it. And initially, I was frustrated because of the
Mhm.
amount of effort I put into trying to present them in their best light online. But
Mhm.
after a while, I finally accepted the fact that this was actually a compliment. It wasn't a criticism, it was a compliment.
No,
Yeah.
no,
you know,
it was a compliment, and
I
that's
know, but
nice.
initially I didn't take it for the compliments that it was.
Mhm.
So, yes, I may sound dramatic, but my goodness, people need your paintings, right? I'm
Yeah.
serious to help them feel what they're feeling, you know?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
they need to see them, you know? So anyway, I'm sorry, I got
I
overly
also
passionate.
asked the question, what I don't know an answer, because she asked why my paintings are so different from, from one another.
Well, it's the emotion. It's how you're feeling.
Yes,
It's how you're
and
feeling.
yes, I think
That's
so.
that's
So
the answer. That's the answer. It's you
yeah,
you
that's the answer.
you express how you're each painting is an expression of how you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah, and
You
they are very different. Yes.
But even though you maybe somebody has expressed that they may feel or look very different, when I see your paintings together, I see that maybe it's because I know you, and maybe
Mhm.
because I look more at your paintings with more of an involved eye than I would another artist. But I see
Mhm.
a relationship between them. How about you, Marianne? Do
Oh,
you?
yeah, I see the thread running through them.
Yes.
I have this same issue, Beata,
Mm,
of I produce a lot of different looks, and I
mm,
can't really
Mhm.
explain to people other than that's all inside me.
mhm,
It's just
Yeah.
more than
mhm,
one vein being
mhm.
mined.
Yeah, yeah. It's I see them all as yours. You know. Ah, okay.
Yeah, she also asked that even my portraits are so different.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yes, that's
I
true.
see the thread. I
Oh,
think I
yeah.
Mhm.
even see the thread in your portraits
Yeah. If you
more.
do the grouping, when you did a grouping on
Yes.
Instagram, I think a while
Mhm.
back, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know,
I
they
saw.
all
I saw
felt
the
very
thread.
powerful.
I
Yeah.
saw the thread. I saw the thread.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me focus. So your intentions are to get the websites up and running. Now, of course,
Yes.
that's not a one. There's so many things that go into a beautiful, effective website. Your
Yeah.
why, your about. I can see Alexis has a whole section about.
Mhm.
As I was saying, I want to interject Alison Stansfield's process for creating an artist statement. So there's so many layers, and so I believe as we embark on this journey again, um, the layers will come to support you in creating
Yes, I think so.
all of this. So for you, it's the website, um, getting, having more exhibitions,
Yes.
creating the brochure
Creating the brochure.
because those go hand in hand with the
Yes, yes, I
exhibitions,
would need it.
and then crafting more offers.
Mhm.
Am I
Yes,
correct?
these are my goals. Yes.
Okay. All
I
right.
have some more, but that's
Oh, bring
longer.
them on. Bring them. This is
I
good.
don't know. So I thought that I would like to have some workshops. Now they will be the emotional awareness,
Mhm,
about emotional awareness and
mhm,
training for corporates.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah.
That's strong. That's very
Yes.
strong. I mean,
Yes.
it's got so people can, can relate to something they can't express and they need a
Yes.
way to
Mhm.
get it out and you
Mhm,
offer them a
mhm.
vehicle.
And even the way you just worded it, Marianne, if that was the introduction on the website, this invitation to express things that you're having, you don't know how to express through art. That's solid. Yeah, that's solid. So, is there more?
Yeah. Last time, one of you asked about my experience regarding to CVP and what I think about that. And until now, what I realized that by now I can see definitely the mistakes of the painting. It can be in design, value, or that's usually not in color because I pay attention usually on that. But so I definitely can recognize the weaknesses, and I also know how to correct them. And I can make a decision on whether I want to correct or not. But I definitely know this.
Okay. So then
And probably that's a good tool, ability to have it. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
If it's in there, it's in the toolbox, and the more it's in there and you understand it and see the value of it, hopefully your subconscious just brings it up.
Yes.
When you're painting naturally. That's the hope.
That's the goal. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have.
So I think that's what I learned.
Well, we'll take it. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, so we know what your intentions are.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to rewatch this and I'll type everything.
Oh, that's so nice from you.
Oh my goodness.
You're welcome. Yes. My only desire is for all of us to succeed.
Yeah.
Together.
That would be great. We can beat them.
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
We can go to Marbella with Nicolas Virto.
Thank you.
Then we can organize our own retreat.
Yes. And we can meet and hug each other.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Nothing else.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for trusting us with.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
That's a great thing that Shirley Ann did a year ago, suggesting
Yes.
I know. I had no idea. I had no idea. But just to piggyback on that, I don't feel like I know motherhood is at the top of my priority list. And when it comes to motherhood, I feel accomplished. I do. But I don't feel accomplished in any other area. I don't. I feel I haven't accomplished anything. But this group of ours, it makes me feel good. Like, I'm doing some good in the world.
Definitely.
So
well, I don't think your measurements are quite right, in that you're doing things, they may just not be out publicly, but your accomplishments, I would say, are distinct, and you've affected our lives. And that's an accomplishment, whether you want to be a coach or not. You have had effects, so you're not fully measuring what you've done.
Well, thank you.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So it's my turn, and I'm glad you said you brought up whether I want to be a coach or not. So I've said to you many times that I want to be an influencer. That regardless of whatever comes behind it, or regardless of whatever supports it, I don't even want to say I want to be an influencer. I am an influencer.
Mhm.
And that's how, that's what I want to lead with, because it adjusts things in my head, you know. So when I wake up every morning, to know that I'm a muse, I'm an influencer, then it directs everything else. So the art will always be there, the fashion will always be there, the everything will always be there. But this is what leads the chart, and
Mm.
that feels, it's what I want. What I want.
Mm.
It's what I've told you so many times, you know. So I just wanted to throw that in. So my intentions are to, I want a firm foundation
Mhm.
so that I don't feel these insecurities about, oh, my website isn't done. Oh, you know, it's exhausting. You know, it takes up a
Yeah.
lot of space when you're not feeling organized. You know, so my first and foremost intention is to have all of my structures in place, which is the website, um, the opt-in, and the welcome series. At least have those in place. I met this fabulous woman 2 days ago in some Facebook group. She's 75 years old. She still dances ballet. She lives in San Francisco and she's an artist. And it was like love at first sight for both of us. You know, I want the spontaneity of saying, I would love to interview you, and have somewhere to put it, right?
Yes.
I can't do that right now because, again, my structures are not in place. It's been too long. So knowing that even though there's the art and everything else, I'm leading with the fact that I'm an influencer. It gives me a good sense of direction. I'm not feeling scattered, like, who am I? What am I doing? So yes, to have my website done, to have my, you know, opportunities in place, my gifts, all those things, that's my number one intention for revisiting the Profit Canvas. I would like to, at Christmas time, I would like to feel ready to take to make the best of the season. You know, I would like to have all these things that are lying around here. I would like them to be in the shop, you know, to be able to maximize the festive season. I know, you know, whether it's the little things or the big things. I know people are, you know, people are always looking for gifts at Christmas time. I want to be ready for Christmas. You know, so that's my second intention. Um, and these two intentions carry a lot. You know, yes, first intention, and of course, to make offers more consistently. As you know, I've spread myself very thin in creating all these extra Instagrams because of the aesthetics of art, but it's a good thing because then I can make these offers in these separate domains which pertain to each look or category or whatever you want to call it. And um, I want to have these soirees and salons, and I know there are people in my audience who will come. I do. But without having these structures in place, you know, nothing is going to work. So, so yes, that's my intention. Of course, the programs and things are all in the works. But without all of the things that I mentioned, nothing, you know, they're floating around, and it's time. So yes, my intention is to have my structures in place, and this will give me the confidence to make more consistent offers
Mhm.
and, you know, move on from there. That's my
Cool.
intention. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have to tell you about the class I signed up for.
So
So
fast.
one of my, I think I mentioned one of my branding sisters.
Mhm.
She wasn't. I've told you she wasn't in the course I took. I think she took it the season before, but
Mhm.
she was in group of the group where Esther guided them to create these 4 week the summer school thing. So her
Mhm.
course was about product photography. And so obviously I was interested. So I took the free course and it was incredible. It was so, so wonderful. And so she, you know how at the end of the free time they promote the next thing, which is the paid course. So she offered the next level of going diving deep into product photography,
Mhm.
but it's going to be a one-on-one experience. It's not just a
Oh.
group experience. And so I jumped on it immediately. So I'm looking forward to improving because I just told you about my friend who says my art looks better in person than it does online.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to improving the photography,
Mhm.
which will express, my brand. And so, of course, I'll share whatever I learn with you. you know. So, yeah, that's
Great.
it.
Great.
Yeah. So that's it for me. That's what I want to accomplish. And of course, there are all these conversations, the profit ladder, the income, what's it called? The profit ladder and what's the other? The revenue plan, all those things. I think it will be a good idea for us to revisit everything,
Mhm.
again.
Yeah,
You know.
probably worth revisiting.
Okay, so that's all for me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, we're missing Michelle today for certain. I
Yes,
hope that she would
yes.
give her take on where she's at.
Of course, of
Mhm.
course. I mean, when she comes on Monday, we'll give her the floor to
Yeah.
do everything we just did before we dive in. Mm, So,
Yeah.
um, yes,
All right.
all right.
Okay.
So get
Okay.
ready.
Yes, really.
I would like to have the energy to do more than I have done. We'll
Mm,
see how
Mhm.
this goes. I feel motivated to get as much as I can done before the
mhm,
24th of September.
yes.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
that's a hell of a motivator, just in
Yes.
case there's some adjustment time afterwards.
Yes.
Because I'm
Yes.
going to
Yes.
have both special
Definitely.
readers, have
Definitely.
distance. I'm going to have to have
Yeah.
special readers for close-up work, which is my work.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
we'll see how long it takes us to get what we need in place.
I think I think we just inject the enthusiasm, and I believe
Mhm.
that as we take these steps forward and we start experiencing little wins,
Yeah.
it'll give us more
Hope
and more.
so.
Yes, we have to believe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We
We
have
have
to
to
believe
believe
it.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Alexis says that
Mm-hmm.
every offer is an energy
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
what you
Yeah.
Yeah,
put out.
he puts it out there. Yeah, we we
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we have to
Certain
believe it.
energy.
We have to.
In a
So,
mindset of love.
hmm
What did
Mhm.
I just read and where was this from? I see so many things. I don't remember where I
I
saw
know.
it, but
Mhm.
shoot. The last 24 hours, it was that art is actually, or I know where it came from.
Mhm.
Um, Creation is actually the destruction of something so that
Oh.
something else can be created out of it. So and he was using the example of sperm and egg,
Mm-hmm.
because the sperm has to break the outside of the egg just to get in, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to be a
Mhm.
strong break,
Mm-hmm.
because there are lots of
Yeah.
tries, but only one gets in,
Yes.
usually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
after the break happens, then with love, the
Mhm.
creation comes forth.
Mhm.
So his point was in the next, this fall, as you create something new, you're destroying something that has existed to have
Mm.
something new occupy, and that this force should be done with through love.
I love
That's where
that.
the power
And that is
comes.
so perfect. That is perfect. Because I think about a seed. It's the same thing.
A seed
Mhm.
has to break the
That's
shell.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
same thing. Wow. That is profound. Thank you.
One of my astrologer buddies.
Mhm. That is profound. I like that. So if you asked me right now, what would I like to destroy? I want to destroy failure and lethargy
Yes.
and
Mhm.
mediocrity and the status quo.
Yeah.
You know, destroy all of that and, for something new to come forth. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's
So
exciting.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, ladies, have a wonderful weekend.
Yes. Everybody
Me
take care.
too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
All right.
weekend.
Okay, see you on Monday, all ready to run.
All right. Take care,
All
everybody.
right, take care. Okay, bye.
See you
Bye.
on Monday. Bye.
Bye. Mm.